Well, something bad happened in America. And if we don't do something about it now to stop it, then things are going to get much, much worse. You see, once upon a time, America was known for her education system. In fact, we had some of the smartest, the brightest, the best inventors, and the best builders on the entire planet. Today, however, the ruling elite have made it their goal to purposefully dumb down America in order to make us a more controlled class. So what is it that happened? Well, take a look at this article from the mostimportantnews.com written by Michael Snyder, titled 18 Statistics That Prove That America Has Become an Idiocracy, or basically the great dumbing down of America by the ruling elite. Now, Michael Snyder on his blog shares all 18, and I'm going to share them here today, but I'm going to give my own commentary on it. But I encourage you, go to his website, check it out, because he hyperlinks all the evidence for it. All right, point number one. One recent survey found that 74% of Americans don't even know how many amendments are in the Bill of Rights. You see, this is something that is taught at a very basic high school or college level. And today, 74% of Americans are unable to name that. Number two, an early survey discovered that 37% of Americans cannot name a single right protected by our First Amendment. I'm talking freedom to assemble, freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all protected by our First Amendment right. If the average person isn't taught these things, then how easy would it be for a global dominating force to take that from them when they don't even realize they have that as a freedom, as a part of their rights? You see, that's why I love everyone listening out there, because you guys are well educated and informed. But here's what we have to do. We have to start informing and waking up the other sleeping half. Point number three, shockingly, only 26% of Americans can name all three branches of government. Again, this is an elementary principle. We have legislative, judicial, and executive offices. That's our three branches of government. Point number four, during the 2016 election, more than 40% of Americans did not know who was running for vice president from either of the major parties. What does that tell me? That tells me that there's a huge chunk of us not even voting for actual principles, not voting for what the candidate actually does and believes, but they're voting strictly off a party name or a party line or whoever is most popular, whoever they see most on the news. We have to start waking people up to the fact of what is it that the people actually believe and have them vote based off of that, not what CNN tells them to vote. Number five, North Carolina is considering passing a law that would mean only scores lower than 39% would qualify for an F grade. And that's in North Carolina public schools. 39%? If I made a C back in my day, I got in a lot of trouble. I got a spanking back in our day. But today, here they have 39% is considered failing. No, anything under a C is a failing. Shouldn't it be going in the other direction? Where if a C was bad in my day and age, shouldn't a B? Shouldn't we have some sort of level? But it seems America is going in an opposite direction because there is a purposeful dumbing down. Number six, 30 years ago, the U.S. awarded more high school diplomas than anyone in the entire world. Today, we have fallen to literal 36th place. That one makes me want to cry. Number seven, according to the Pentagon, 71% of our young adults are ineligible to serve in the military because they're too dumb or even have some kind of criminal background. Really? Number eight, for the very first time, Americans are more likely to die from an opioid overdose than they are in a car accident. That one tells me that there is a drug skyrocketed increase here in America. You see, the more and more that we get away from morals and biblical religion and Christianity, the closer that we get to more crime rising up in our country. And this is a direct result of that. Number 9, one study discovered that 1/3 of all of American teenagers haven't read one book in the past year. They're not being encouraged to read. Teachers aren't checking if they're actually reading the book or not. This is an epidemic, in my opinion. Number 10, a recent survey found that 45% of teenagers are almost constantly online. If they're constantly glued to their cell phones, I have teenagers, I know, then who is their actual master? Who are they learning from? Who are they gaining that knowledge and information from? Probably what they're glued to. And I think, in all honesty, it's part of the great dumbing down of America. Point number 11, today the average American spends 86 hours a month using a smartphone. That applies to us too. Number 12, overall, the average U.S. adult logs 6 hours and 43 minutes of screen time a day. We need to start spending more time with our families and our loved ones and our friends. Number 13, in more than half of all U.S. states, the highest publicly paid employee in the state is a football coach. A football coach. Number 13, it just kind of shows where our priorities as a country really are, or, well, I say, where the priorities have been labeled by the elite ruling class. This is what they want as our priorities. There's a big difference. Number 14, during one 7-day period last summer, a total of 16,000 official complaints about human feces were submitted to the city of San Francisco. And apparently the problem is very real because one investigation found 300 piles of human feces, that's poop, on the streets of downtown San Francisco. That one makes me want to throw up. Why anyone would do that, I have no idea. We have toilets, but here we have an epidemic of poop. Deliberate dumbing down of America. 16, less than half of Americans know which country used the atomic bomb at the end of World War II. Number 17, even though we fought a war in Iraq for 8 years long, 6 to 10 adults cannot find Iraq on a map, nor 75% of them couldn't even locate Israel, something that's literally on the television nonstop. And finally, number 18, today, the average college, keyword there, college freshman in the U.S. reads at a 7th grade level. What happened to our great country? What happened to us here in America? Well, may I suggest some of the great dumbing down of the elites, such as fluoriding our water. This is known to cause not only sterilants, but also basically making you more docile, more controllable. Not just fluoride in the water, but how about the aerosol injections and geoengineering that are being dropped on our heads? This aluminum, strontium, barium is literally causing people to have dementia and break out with mental problems. Not to mention our cellular devices. These shoot off radiation levels. Our smart meters, our smart appliances, all a part of our house, shooting radiation at our head from multiple directions. And now we have implementation and the startup of 5G and eventually 6G. These are all messing with our heads. There is a deliberate dumbing down of America. Please share this video far and wide. Don't forget to check out Michael Snyder's actual report there if you want to see all the hyperlinks. But the truth is, we have to start making a stand in our schools and encouraging our children to do better and do more, and encouraging our education system via, the voting box to basically remove things like Communist Core, because Common Core is a dumbed down curriculum. Let's bring it back and bring our standards back. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.